In this video, I will be explaining the notice and note signpost called Numbers and Stats and what you should do when you think you found an example in your text. Authors often use numbers when they are writing a nonfiction piece of text. Numbers are very important to help us understand what's going on. You can see numbers presented in many different ways. For example, you usually see numbers like 1, 27, 6,000, or the number might be written out with letters like O-N-E. Sometimes the author will include a percentage like 20%, or an amount word like several, few, a lot. You also want to make sure that if you see a date in the text, you focus on that number as well. After reading a number, you need to stop and ask yourself a question. Why does the author use this number? And what does this number tell me about the situation? If the author gives you two different dates, you might want to figure out how many years have passed between the two, or if some event took place in the past. A number might also tell you how many were involved in the situation. If one car is in an accident, it might not cause too much traffic, but if 15 cars are in an accident, you'll be stuck in traffic for hours. Numbers are very important because they help us come to a conclusion about what has happened. Is the situation very serious or not so much? In this example, a man comes back from shopping to find his car filled with bees. Listen for the number while I read. It started out as a quick stop at a grocery store in New Mexico. A man parked his car, left a window open, and went in to get some groceries. 10 minutes later, he loaded his shopping bags in the back seat and started to drive away. That's when he saw the mass of 15,000 buzzing honeybees hanging from one of his rear windows. Not knowing what to do with a car full of insects, he called 911. As you can see, the author gives us the number 15,000. I asked myself, why did the author use the number 15,000? And I understand that it shows me how many bees were in his car. I can't just continue reading though. I have to consider the situation. 15,000 bees is a lot of bees. There is no way that this guy would be able to remove all the bees without getting stung. One bee in your car is scary. Imagine having 15,000 bees buzzing around. No thanks. In this second example, we learn about how bees affect our food systems. Listen for the number while I read. 1/3 of the food we consume depends on pollination by honeybees, but these tiny workhorses in our food system are continuing to die in perplexing ways. I asked myself, why does the author use the number 1/3? And I realized that it shows us how much of our food growing relies on bee pollination. Again, I have to consider the situation. 1/3 is a large amount, even if it doesn't sound like it. Without bees, a lot less fruits and vegetables would be able to grow and many people would go hungry. The number 1/3 helps me understand that bees are very important to the way that the world grows its food. In the last example, we'll read about bees that are in danger. Listen for the number while I read. The Netherlands is one of the world's largest producers of agricultural and food products. Bees are responsible for pollinating 80% of the edible crops grown in the country. Yet, of the 360 different species of bee in the Netherlands, about half of them are threatened. I ask myself one more time, why does the author use the number or the number phrase half? Half shows us how many species of bees might become extinct. Sometimes you have to do a little math while you're reading. The author gave us the number 360 and it said that half are threatened. That means half of 360 is 180, and about 180 bee species could possibly become extinct. Again, this is not a good thing because if there are less bees, there will be a problem growing food. So when you find a number while you're reading, you need to make sure you stop and ask yourself, why does the author use this number? Does this number show me how many or how much? Do I learn if the situation is a big deal or not so much? Maybe I've learned that the event only took a few years and then things changed, or a person involved was only 12 years old. Whatever the number is, you need to make sure that you stop for a few seconds and wonder what other information do you learn from the number in a non-fiction text.